Hi, everybody. I wanted to bring on a friend, someone I'm getting to know, Lisa Gray. Lisa, where are you anyway? What state are you in?
Technically, we're in Minnesota. My family, we live in Moorhead, Minnesota. But I oftentimes claim and just say I'm from Fargo, North Dakota. That's where I've really grown up and lived most of my life in North Dakota. And so it's just the border town situation. So Moorhead and Fargo, and we're cold either direction that you go. It doesn't matter.
That is,
So we're in nice bone chilling weather today.
yes, that is cold. So I won't complain what the temperatures are here when I'm cold. But we are here to talk about a little bit about what you were doing, in your, I guess, your field of endeavor, before I met you, and learn about what you're doing now and what impact that has had, on the life and the life of others around you. So what were you doing?
Yes, Heather. Well, thanks for welcoming me to the call today. So again, Lisa Gray here, and I'm so excited to share a little bit of what's going on with my health and with my family and our business. And so before I began working in this capacity with superfood nutrition, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I also worked previously in network marketing with a health and wellness company for about 15 or 16 years. And I enjoyed the benefits of having some flexibility to earn some income from home and do the lifestyle that I'd wanted to, but it wasn't meeting the needs any longer. We have 5 children at home right now, and I homeschool them. And we have 2 children that have kind of undiagnosed chronic conditions, but one of them is very, very diagnosed. Our daughter Noelle is 9 years old now, and when she was only 16 months old, she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So she has an autoimmune disorder, and she also was diagnosed with her celiac disease by the age of 3. And so, from a pretty little on standpoint, we knew she was a pretty tender kid, and that she had great resilience about her and great joy in life, and she still does. But that we saw her kind of degrading in health in different ways, and then we found out later on her older brother, our son Elijah, who's 11, he's also kind of tracking with her in this strange illness that we can't quite determine digestively. There's things that are wrong. Noelle manifests pancreatitis at the age of probably about 7, which
Wow.
is a disease that like adult males get who are African American and usually are heavy smokers and have all kinds of other issues. And here she is, like a 7-year-old little girl who needs to now take digestive enzymes in her life for the rest of her life. That was her the conventional doctoring approach, which said, yeah, that's just what she's going to have to do. But in extraordinary pain with every single meal. So I was looking for something else because the health and wellness field that we were in and the supplements we were using, I would never discount them and discard them as nothing that wouldn't be of value to people. But there was something missing, and I had to keep looking, especially on behalf of my children. So I was coming into the fall, kind of a bedraggled mom who was kind of tired of searching because we had tried for 2.5 years to find different results and we weren't finding them. And I also was looking at a new school year of like, okay, how am I going to make this all work again? And I'm already tired as a mom myself. And if you want to know just a little snippet of what life is like, being a parent of a small little type 1 diabetic child, like there's extenuating circumstances all around us, chronic illnesses everywhere. But when we have those issues in our kids and they're chronic, a type 1 diabetic, you might be up every single night for the whole entire month, like you were treating a newborn baby. Like you're there with them, making sure their blood sugars are managed well. You have to check their lows and give them applesauce or give them a drink or something. And then you have to help them when they're high and figure out why are they going high and maybe put a new insulin site in them in the middle of the night, trying to do everything in the dark as best as possible so no one else wakes up. So it's a tough road to hoe. And so I was bedraggled and I was getting to the end of like, oh, I have to do this for the rest of her life with us. So I need to continue on well, and I was looking for something else that could fulfill some of our needs.
Wow. Wow. I mean, I've heard little bits of your story, but thank you for just being vulnerable and sharing that. I'm sure a lot of people who know you or look at you have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. You said with 5 kids, that you're dealing with in homeschooling, and 2 are dealing with chronic health issues, and
Mhm.
your energy was struggling, to keep up with all that you had to do. So what did you find that helped you? And um,
Yes. So I reached out to a friend of mine, Rebecca Dussault. I knew her previously from Fit Catholic Mom. She's an Olympian in her previous life, which is awesome for her. And I give glory to God for her witness on in her sports and in her love for the Lord and how she's helping other women. So I joined up with her a couple years ago to do a personal training program through her with working out and becoming more physically fit myself, hoping that that would kind of help feed my spirit and help keep me going, like I said, in this exhaustive kind of marathon that we were on. And so I reached back out to her because I knew she was feeling well, feeling better all the time, and that she's expecting child upon child and going through her childbearing years with grace and love and just a joy in life and still embracing everything and knowing that she was reaching hundreds, if not over thousands of women with her fitness program. And so I was asking her, well, what is it that you're doing? And is this something that could help out my daughter now in terms of nutrition and superfoods and the value of what the benefits are of changing up our lifestyle, even a little bit more than we have? We weren't opposed to doing new things. Like I said, we were really on the search. And I also wanted to be a light to people around me that I know are watching us as well and wondering, what are we doing? And we are part of a very faithful community of other friends who have the same issues with their children with type 1 diabetes or high inflammatory diseases that are autoimmune related. So I was wondering what else we could do, and I reached out to her, and she just really encouraged me along. And at one point, she was like, Lisa, you may want to just look at this for yourself. And I said, well, very truly, I do, because if this works better for me and if this serves my family better, I will not tell the world. I will not tell people that there might be something more for them and let them decide for themselves if it's working so well for us. And so I can tell you today that Noelle is still not healed of her pancreatitis and type 1 diabetes. She still is in some pain, and we're still working with her on what we can do differently. It's not all solved, but for me, the joy that I have, my kids have said to me, "Wow, mom," like unsolicited now. They're like, "There's something better and different about you. Like you really, I can tell, like you love playing with us when you get to play with us." And they see me running around outside trying to go sledding with them if I'm able to. They see that I have more energy. They know that I get up before my alarm clock now. My husband knows that too. He wants to spend extra time with me in the morning. And so it's just a special thing that I have more zeal for life and more energy. So thanks be to God. And it's all because of the superfoods and the ultimate lifestyle transformation that I chose to embark on back last fall, actually, several months ago. And so it's been a beautiful journey. I want to say that it wasn't just for me though, because my husband kind of was begrudging, and he's like, well, it looks like a lot of green foods for you and just like some of those things that might not be manly enough for me. And so he wasn't ready to get rid of his protein shakes or anything or any other supplements, but he watched me, and I just became a witness to even my husband, my best friend. And I was super delighted. And I have to tell everyone that he did join me in 1 month of transformation in December, but he was super half-hearted about it. All he did was like, I'll switch out my shakes and I'll try the other new shakes that are really green and they look a little different to me, but I'll give it a go because I love you, Lisa, and I see something more in you and I see something better and I maybe want that for myself. So he was willing to try and very open. So I give him credit for that. But this last week, he actually jumped into the end of January and decided to commit to his 10-day deeper cleanse. And he was just doing it. So he kind of broke off because of Christmas and the New Year holiday, and he kind of quit everything. But here, I just have to tell you, Heather, it's such exciting news. He just like leaned over to me the other morning, and he's like, "Guess how much weight I've lost in 7 days? And he's like, I've lost 7 pounds in 7 days." And I was so blown away that he's on a 10-day cleanse and he's already at that. And he was smiling and so happy about it. He's like, this is the lowest I've been in probably 4 or 5 years.
mm,
So just delighted for that transformation and seeing him be lighting up about it and now excited. He's like, dude. And he's sending out texts to his friends and being like, guess what? This thing is actually real. What I'm doing with my wife, it's actually working. So I'm so excited to hear his owning the situation and deciding to give it its full course. And so we're actually, he hasn't even done the full transformation altogether in a month yet. but he asked me afterwards, after we did a little, I said, I just have to share this with my friends. Afterwards, he did say to me, he's like, so can I take super cleanser every day? Like he thinks that's like the magic now. And then he also said, I really wasn't going to do anything more. But now, Lisa, that I have kind of experience that I'm not really craving foods and I'm in really good control of myself. Like I don't have to sit and I can pass by the brownie plate at the work office and I don't need to take any. And so he said these things that he's feeling about himself that have been challenging him, that he's wanted to be challenged in for a long time, are coming out now, and that discipline is showing up, that he loves it. He's back to working out again as well. And so he said, can I just, how do I do it if I just want to keep going with that fruit part? And then I just kind of have the superfoods in, and how much can I give and take? And so he's asking me because he wants to really embrace the rest of it now, I think going forward, like he realizes it, how healthy it is for him. So I didn't mean to share all that, but it's just so exciting in the last couple of days for Brad, my husband, to be all lit up about it and telling the world too.
That is exciting. So, I mean, so what has this meant for you and your family financially compared to?
Sure. So the benefits and the joy of all this, even if you heard me speak now about how happy I am about the results that I'm receiving just with newfound energy and joy in life, it's developing friends' belief in themselves and in this good God around us who's so abundant that he would take us and allow us to mess up in our stewardship and still bless us abundantly. Like, I'm so grateful for us taking a leap of faith to say, hey, you know what? We really don't have the money to spend on this right now. If we step into this realm, we absolutely lose all the other income from the other business that we were doing. And I would need to replace that almost immediately in order to keep up with our normal family budget and everything we have going on, especially with our health expenses. So I was like, well, I need to offset it. I'm going to be serious. I'm going to start it right away and jump in, and I'm going to find people. And guess what? All of my people are taken up by my other business. And I don't know that they're going to be a warm market for me any longer. So I have had to be gingerly approaching it. And so if you can imagine, all of my family, all of my closest friends, because for the last 15 years I've done something else, they're not all going to want to switch right away. And so it was a little bit to me of a daunting measure, but I thought, you know what, this is meaning too much. And if my husband is on board with believing in me, I'm going to give it all I can and just really see what the Lord has in store. And so being really grateful and leading with my heart and just reaching out to person after person that comes to my mind in the day, and not necessarily always just being like, you need to hear about this business, you need to hear about the superfoods, but just engaging in conversations to make it a point to reach out to friends and see how they're doing in their day and what their struggles are, or how I can embrace them and be a friend alongside whatever they're going through. All of a sudden I start hearing, oh, you're struggling with Lyme disease now? I had no idea. Or what, you have cancer? I totally forgot that. You've had cancer for the last 3 years. Are you kidding me? As another mom of 5 kids homeschooling like me, I'm like, oh wow, let me lean in. And do you want to hear more about this cleansing that I've been doing? Just offering a solution and an idea. So it became a product story first to friends. But then as I was working through it, I would never not discriminate. I would never not have an idea in my mind that this person would never be interested in the business. So I'm not going to tell them because they are sick with cancer, or they're too busy for this, or they don't really actually like natural living and they're not into that. I have just indiscriminately shared, just so you know, I'm looking for brand partners. I'm looking for friends who want to do this alongside of me. If you're lit up by a team of women or men that are like-minded, they're like us, my friend Rebecca and I, strong in spirit and a willingness to take the world but for whatever it gives us and give back as generously as we can too. We were open to that, and we have shared that openness with others. And just in the last couple of months now, the last 2 months, we've added in, well, I've had two new brand partners come in, but one super strong. She actually double ranked this last month. And below her, she had two other brand partners show up for her. And so with her, with my friend Casey and her downlines now showing up, they actually, one family triple ranked this last month for the first month of the year, triple ranked. They earned like 15 or $1,600 in bonuses on top of the commissions that they earned. My friend Casey earned probably close to $4,000
Wow.
in her very first full month of working alongside of me. And so I'm like, holy smokes, friends, this is really the deal. It's really true. It's going to work and say what it's going. I mean, it's going to work the way it says it works, actually. It's not all pie in the sky. And really working alongside of us and just believing that it's possible and being coachable has been key. So I've remained coachable and just like, well, here's me. I feel like I'm a small voice in the world. I'm not on social media, and yet I'm willing to share with friends from social media and who maybe want to shout out on social media things as well. It's up to them how what they feel God is calling them to be and where He wants them to be working, and just sharing the possibilities with friends has been beautiful. But it just I've been so delighted to see the growth and the generosity of friends giving back to friends and then our team working together. I'm like, this is something special. I've been in the business for a long time. I never saw this in other teams and I never have experienced this before. I did not know that we would be best friends, all cheering each other on every single day, connecting and just being joyful for each other's little victories and then big awesome victories.
Oh, that is like so inspiring to hear your heart, and that how you're all working together as a team, uplifting each other, and what's happening as a result, and how it's blessing others with their health and with their finances. That is so exciting. Thank you so much for sharing. And what are you sort of excited about the possibility of what's to come, or what's your hope of creating in the future?
Yeah, that's a great question, Heather. I just really want to be a voice of truth to those who want to hear the voice of truth. And whoever that is, I don't even know yet. I'm reaching out and excited for more friends. And so if you're watching this and if you're curious, we want to welcome you to please talk to Heather about what's exciting both of us and the work that we're doing to regenerate health, regeneratively speaking. And I honestly thought that was just like another fad. Like it's just a term that some people are using to brand their brand of modality of medicine, which is just a form of naturopathy that everybody else is already doing, but we'll call it regenerative detoxification. And boy, was I wrong. I was so wrong. I really am honest about being the first to be like, shame on you, Lisa, for thinking that. But that was what was kind of going on in the back of my mind. And so truthfully, just sharing the message of regenerative detoxification. And like I said, our family is not completely healed yet. We don't know why and when and how and where. We're just totally entrusting ourselves to the Lord. But we are seeing lights come on in our kids and in new things in new ways, that their cravings for other foods that are the not so good things in life are leaving them finally, and that they're like, hey, I want vegetables. Like this is unspoken of and unheard of by my son who just walked by me in the background before, my 11-year-old Elijah. I was like, I just heard you say you want to eat vegetables. Is that I never like after all the whining you've been doing on your detoxification and stuff. So it's not been easy, but it's been beautiful because we know God lends us those lights when we need those lights. And so if you're hearing this today and you're like, gosh, I wonder, is that something? There's nothing wrong in just saying, hey, I'd love to hear more about your story, or I'd love to hear more from you, Heather. What is it that you have going on? Because this sounds like something that I should at least look into.
Yeah. Anybody who's inspired by Lisa's story or wants to know more, if you know Lisa and you're watching this, please reach out to her to learn more about regenerative nutrition and detox, to learn more about the business opportunity. And if you know me, and you're watching this, please don't hesitate. This has definitely transformed both our lives, and it's definitely transformed our finances. And I feel like even though I've been doing this a little bit, we're like just getting started. And it's exciting to see what is possible. And thank you so much for even your enthusiasm. I can feel it, that
Oh,
excitement.
good.
It's just beautiful. Thank you for sharing it. And
Oh, well, wonderful. Well, if we can just help one more person, one more family to earn and see the benefits that we're seeing, it's totally worth it. It's totally worth the time with you today, Heather, and anyone else. Like again, that if we can use this media to inspire other people, thanks be to God. It's all for his glory. And we don't say that half-heartedly. It's really truly his us being honored by him because we've honored him in the first place and really given him his space to work in our hearts and our lives, and just again to be wide open. And so how exciting. And I really thank you again too, Heather. And it's fun for us to connect even though we're sidelines. we're
Mhm.
not directly under each other or above each other, but it's beautiful to know your witness and your story and to hear about how you've been disabled in the past, just to that level of hurt and pain in your life and how you've regenerated and come to the state of glowingness that you are today. How beautiful it is that we were just sharing about that before the call. And it's true. And I see that sparkle in your eyes that I'm like, wow, it's so fun just to meet people like you. And then for us to get a chance to talk like this and just to share in each other's lives on the journey a little bit more too, and to grow from each other's knowledge. So Heather has a great testimonial in mold toxicity and Lyme's disease and the chronic inflammatory response syndrome. Like these are some heavy, heavy issues that some people are just very significantly and just holistically affected by. And we really want to reverse that in others as we're seeing these types of situations come out in the work now that we're in the work that we're doing, right? So the conversations we're having, we're like, wow, you may benefit from my friend Heather, or she could say that maybe about us too, that maybe you would want to reach out to this family with these young kids. So I thank you for the time, everyone, today. We're really delighted and just excited to see where God's going to show up next.
Yes, amen. Thank you, Lisa. Have a great day. I'm going to pause this recording.